Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Hey, thank you. It's good to be here.
Another Wednesday. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's the date? I don't know. July
12th.
something.
No,
July?
the 16th. I'm sorry.
You sure?
Yes.
July 16th, 2014. Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. Hello to everybody around the world, listening worldwide.
To Dart Talk.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
So let's hear it. You played League last night.
I did, yes. It was all right. We stunk as a team, but won 5-4. It actually went good, though. I mean, people were ready to play. We, played in timely fashion. There weren't the matches were relatively, they weren't really long. Like excruciating, like nobody could hit a double type thing. So it was
okay.
It was good.
So it moved along a little bit better.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's funny. Jill's team's the same way. They were done like at least an hour earlier than the first time I saw him play. And
right.
I attribute that only to the fact that people are like, gee, why are we taking so long?
Why is it 1 in the morning?
Let's get a move on.
Yeah.
But how'd you play?
I played fair. I struggle with my concentration. I get there, and I'm not into it right away, and I warm up and I'm warming up okay. And I'm hitting things, and then I get to the first match, and I just kind of it's like I'm just staring at the board, and I just kind of throw, and then all of a sudden things don't go in, and I'm just like, oh, wait a minute, this wasn't the way I was warming up. And then it takes me, I don't know, a good 20 minutes until I'm like, you know what, you actually have to pay attention to what you're doing and concentrate, and then I start throwing better.
It's funny. I mean, people are wired differently, right? I have known people that literally could be in the middle of a conversation and be like, oh, it's my turn, grab 3 darts, go to the line, throw 3 great darts, grab them, come back, and then continue in the sentence that they stopped.
Yeah.
And I've seen people like that who literally, if you don't talk to them and they just stand there and go to the line, they won't hit anything at all. I mean, it's kind of weird. Everyone has their own little weird mental happy place, I guess, but Jill kind of said the same thing, what do you do when you know you're not focusing? And I'm like,
yeah, it's,
well, then you focus.
You focus.
I'm like, try staring at a groove on your dart.
Right.
Focus on something. Because, you guys playing Bar League, I mean, there's so many distractions. You got, the World Series game was on last night probably. I would think.
World Series.
Or no, the All-Star game.
The All-Star game.
Baseball All-Star
game
was on.
Yeah, no, actually what was more distracting were it was a smaller bar with, just a bunch of regulars that, hang out there all the time that weren't just
right. Keep talking.
That they're just there and they're just having a conversation about the Bulls and basketball and I'm trying not to listen to, but I can't help it while I'm warming up, and they're just driving me nuts because everything they say is wrong.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of funny because I can tune out bad music pretty much.
Yeah,
but a bad conversation.
You can't tune out a bad conversation.
Is just you just want to go yank somebody's tongue out, and then. To be honest, I've seen people do this at tournaments. I've seen people literally decide that they're going to have an annoying conversation behind me when I play. And it's like, okay, fine. Yeah, I got to work a little harder to tune you out, but it's not like there's not a payback that's possible.
Right.
Right?
But yeah, all of a sudden you hear one sentence that just sets you off, and you're like, how could I not? You couldn't tune it out, but it's just...
Yeah, all somebody's got to say is the Bulls should not amnesty Carlos Boozer. And I literally am going to drop my darts and say, Who are you?
Yeah, or you're going to turn around and throw the dart
Oh,
at him.
my God, please.
You know.
I mean, everybody's mailing it in this week. I mean, I was listening to some sports talk, and I was just kind of like, we should maybe start doing sports talk because these guys are terrible. I'm listening to Wilbon saying he's not convinced the Bulls are going to be better when we added like 4 guys and got rid of like the one albatross
One
on
of the
team.
best European guys.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's Tony Kukoc, we're fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How can we not be better by getting rid of Carlos Boozer?
Right.
I mean,
You're better already.
yeah, right. I mean, at least you can groom somebody who can like play in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a bad signing anyway, so whatever. We're not a basketball show.
No. But so anyway, yeah, so that's how it started, and then I mean that was while I was warming up, but so then I guess it carried over. I just didn't pay attention. So I lost the first doubles match I played in, and then won the next 3 after that. After I got it together a little bit.
The first match of the night is probably the hardest one to play. You know, you're coming in a little cold.
Yeah.
Whatever. I know that you said that you played in a. This is kind of interesting. There's a team that was supposed to play out of like one of the oldest dart bars in Chicago, and then what? They decided we're moving our team because you fired our bartender.
Yeah, somebody got fired, so they moved. Yeah.
I guess that makes it a bar league. If your loyalty is to the bartender who's been like sliding you shots for 20 years. Well, okay, we can't have that.
So I don't know. Does that mean they found the next bar that would just slide him shots? I don't know. That place was kind of a dive to me.
I don't know. See, that's the thing about league. That's why I'm glad you're the one playing league, and you're the league player, and I'm not, because it would drive me crazy. I swear to God, the reason I got banned from this one bar is because I ordered team drinks during the third match.
Oh, really? Just too soon?
I'm pretty sure that, too soon. And I'm like, well, yeah, but, people are leaving early. Eddie's got to leave early. Oh, well, we'll take care of Eddie. And I'm like.
I didn't see it in the bylaws that there was a certain time where you had to order team shots.
I just remember when I first started playing in the league, I didn't drink. And so I always drank at the end of the night. So we came down for team drinks, and all I wanted was a glass of wine. And the guy's like, well, you can't have one. I'm like, really? I'm on the team. He's like, but you haven't been drinking. And I'm like, I don't drink when I play. He's like, well, then you don't get a team drink. And I'm like, all right. Well, can I buy a glass of wine? I mean,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the one thing about the league in Chicago and the way it's run and the way it's organized. And I don't know how many. There's a certain amount of synergy between bars who host the league events and the teams, but it seems to me that in Chicago they're so concerned with the bars and they don't really give a rat's butt about the players. That's part of the reason they don't have that many players anymore.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I mean, but I could see him wanting you to purchase a beverage. I mean, in effect, you're going to buy one, and so it's buy one, get one free. So if you at least would have bought one, you would have gotten your one team drink.
Well, I didn't want one.
Right.
I guess I could have bought one and let it sit for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And plus, the place was a dump anyway.
Right.
And it's the guy who owned the bar was also the captain of the team, which is another thing that I'm kind of like, whenever I see a bar owner on a team, I'm like, what, you don't have any players? I've seen like 2 bar owners that could really play. And then the rest of them are just sort of like, okay, I get it. You want a team for your bar. Mm-hmm. But if that's the purpose for having your team, I'm not really sure I'd want to play on it.
Well, you just got.
We need 5 people with a heartbeat. Well, I'm not even sure that they're friends.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get whoever hangs out here
patrons.
on a dart team.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're patrons hanging out.
I don't really see that as being too promising long term.
No.
Right, and again, you're trying to grow the sport. I've been racking my brains to figure out ways to get things going. Like, give dart lessons every Sunday night at 7. Put a big sign up, free dart lessons, 7:00 every Sunday, and see if you get some people. You're gonna have to
I bet you get a couple.
Well, you might only get 1 or 2 the first, but as word travels around and people see what you're doing, you could turn it into a real exhibition, right? Get more people. And get the right people playing. We need to get people playing darts that are, yuppies. We need to get yuppies playing darts so we can raise entry fees, No, seriously, so there's some money to play for.
Right.
I mean, I know guys that'll $300 for a round of golf, $200 for a round of golf twice a year is no big thing.
Oh, right.
You go to a dart tournament and there's 8 events and entry fees are like $150 for the weekend. What's the big deal? Right? But every single weekend doing that is like,
it's
come on, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Who's going to do, who would bother?
You?
No. I never played every single weekend.
No,
I think there's maybe been 3 months where I played 3 tournaments and I was dead.
Mm-hmm.
just from the traveling. I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't have the constitution, and you get tired of traveling after a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, great, go see the parking lot in Charlotte. I've seen that already. That's what I like about Nashville, because Nashville, there's things to do there. It's a good city. New Orleans was great. We had a great time in New Orleans. Everybody likes to go to Vegas because, let's face it,
Vegas.
There's places to go, people to see, things to do, right?
Absolutely.
Somebody still owes me a helicopter ride. Not going to get into that.
All right.
Where are we on time? Because,
we got time, but we should probably disclaim some things.
Disclaim everything. Disclaim away.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Right. So we can talk later in the show. We'll talk about the Dartslive America's Tour Event 3, Stage 3, whatever they had in Washington.
Yeah.
66 players. I was shocked by that number. Because,
very low.
Well, also because they had so many more people last year, I think, there. So
okay.
I think the local turnout was down.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if it happened because it was in Washington.
No, I thought they were happy with it last year. That's why they had it there again. So I can't imagine them being too enamored with 66 people. I mean, that's over half.
Yeah.
What you're looking for. I mean, that can't be making anybody
can't
too happy. And then the America's Cup, we apparently. I am very confused. Now, I sent you on the mission to look for results, so we'll talk about that later in the show. But there is one thing that I did want to kind of ask you about, because I think this would be of interest to the players who play league darts. And I think there's a lot of players that listen to the show that play league darts in one way, shape, or form. And I'm kind of interested on your take on this, because I've been asked this before. What do you think makes a good captain for a dart team? Because I was kind of ripping on your captains. It's the captain's responsibility to get the people to the line to play the next match.
Right.
And the captains aren't paying attention. Jill's guy didn't show up on time, and then he was like, well, you're supposed to stall him and all this. And Jill's like, well, I intend to start on time. Right? So, I mean, there's...
I mean, I think that's the main key is, our captain works a little later, and so he usually gets there, but he's sending a text, hey, I'm 5-10 minutes late, so-and-so start the first leg. So he's already like, you guys might as well start. I don't have to be there. I mean, why do you have to wait for your captain?
Well, you need to wait for your lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, Jill wasn't sure
I've never been on a
what she
team
was
that's
going
ever
to play.
made a lineup like all 9 games, though, ahead of time.
It's easy to do when you only have like 4 people.
Well, sure,
but,
yeah.
I mean,
but when you have 5 to 6 and you're not sure if somebody's going to be there this week or not because nobody really.
All right,
says
so
whether they're coming.
communication.
Yeah.
Right? Being able to make sure you have enough bodies and make sure the bodies know what they're going to do.
I think you have to be in tune with who's playing well. I mean, I think there's certain times in the league, especially like if you're you're going to make the playoffs, then you get everybody playing. But there's also you have to know that who's playing well because you obviously want to make the playoffs, and you might play somebody only 2 legs this week or 3 the next.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen people. That's it's nice to know who's playing well. But I think the only way to do that is to get an honest answer from a player. I mean, I've seen bad captains literally watching people warm up and be like, he's off tonight.
Well,
I mean, which is just, that's not going to work.
No.
I mean, I've played
but I mean,
great
after you get done with the first 3
games. Crappy, well, yeah.
You have a good idea,
But, 3, if you're down 3-0 and it's a race to 5, I mean, that's a pretty deep hole, right?
Well,
so,
sure.
It's, I mean, I there's one captain I talked to where I referred to somebody as an 0-1 player, and he disagreed with me. Which, okay, I'm not really fond of being disagreed with, but I'm perfectly willing to hear opposing opinions so I can point out the error of their ways.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm willing to listen, And it was the most cockeyed argument I've ever heard. And I'm like, well, I know one player is somebody that can finish. Who else you got can finish?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So then she's
that was the answer.
Kinda, yeah. You know, some people just like to argue for the sake of arguing. Those people annoy me.
Well, that's true, but
No, but I will tell you that you know, being a captain is not all. It's a pain for one.
Yeah.
I had to do
the most
it.
important thing is bringing the folder.
Well, and we used to call him the folder holder.
Yeah.
And I've seen people rip on their captain because they didn't play. I got ripped on because I let somebody talk me out of the lineup I wanted to play, and it got all screwed up, and we ended up losing. And a guy wouldn't talk to me for a year.
Really?
Well, yeah. And I was just sort of like, because what happened was it ended up that we were getting down to the cricket singles, and I had told him he was going to play cricket, but I had substituted somebody for me in the format or something.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, well, I guess, wait a minute.
There's
no way this guy's a better cricket player than me. I'm going to play him instead of me.
Yeah.
And then, to make it worse, I lost.
Oh, nice.
In the third leg. Oh, the guy played good, but I mean, I kind of like underperformed a little bit. And now the guy's doubly mad because, of course, he would have won.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, he was a good player and everything, so I felt bad about that. I felt bad about losing. We end up losing the match, and I'm like, why did I listen to that guy? You know, and I actually.
So basically, you have to, you know, you're the
asked
captain.
Another guy, yeah,
you're the captain. You have to do what you want, and.
But some teams are harder to manage than others. I mean, if you're on a team that's really kind of gung ho to win. I mean, when I first started playing League, those were all the teams I was on were gung ho to win, and I was the nightmare captain. I was the guy. If you lost your singles match because you missed double 16, I'd be go hit it twice. You owe me 10 double 16s after the match. I mean, literally, I was a nightmare. And looking back, I laugh at myself. It was pretty funny. Where are we on time? We're
ready for a break.
Okay, we'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Ponsiello. We've got America's Cup results, Dartslive results, and more. We'll be right back.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
The DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks to Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. So where were we? What were we talking about?
Finishing up. We're talking about captains.
Well,
it's a
yeah,
thankless job.
It was funny. I joined a team actually whose previous name I think was like our captain sucks.
That was the name of the team. All right.
Well, apparently what had happened was the captain lost one of his players who's basically said that, you know, he sucked, right? Best captain I've ever had. I ended up playing on his team for like 2 years, and he was really shocked. And because I said to him, I'm like, you are by far the best captain I've ever had. Like once a season, he'd be like, how am I doing? I'm like, man, you're fine. The best captain I've ever had. For one, I didn't have to deal with being a captain and carrying the folder and all that, which pleased me greatly. But for two, we were talking about communication. He'd be kind of like, what do you think of this lineup? What do you think of that? Should I play this guy? Should I play that guy? And, he would solicit advice from, quote, knowledgeable people, right? I consider myself a knowledgeable dart player. And then he would make his decision.
Yeah.
Right? And if I thought it was a bad decision, I'd be like, geez, man, really? What'd you do that for? And he'd say, well, I did it because, this, that. And I'm, okay, all right. See if
at least he had a reason.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's fine. I mean, if you look at the All-Star game, that's why I asked you if you watched it. The Cardinals manager decides to start the Cardinals pitcher.
Right.
Which was BS.
I thought so, too.
The home run derby, they picked Justin Morneau because he used to play in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's on the downhill side of his career. By no way on earth is he's going to make another All-Star game, I don't think, instead of somebody like Rizzo who got voted by 6 million people.
Right.
And who could power. He'd have been a left-handed hitter, and that's a left-handed hitting park from what they were saying during the home run derby.
Yeah.
I mean, Rizzo, I'm pretty sure, could have hit one homer.
Well, he could have hit a lot more. It was
it's just sort of, you're playing favorites and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of making decisions kind of, for the good of the team, and it bit them in the butt. They gave up 3 runs in the first.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I hate that. I hate, captains that play their friends instead of like somebody else. I mean, why would you even be on that team? And
because you're a friend and you get to play.
Well, look, a lot of I've seen a lot of teams over the years. I've seen a lot of different kinds of captains, and if you're taking the stuff seriously, you kind of need to make serious decisions as opposed to things like playing favorites or whatever. People that aren't on time, and then you're kowtowing to them. That tends to irritate the people that do show up on time, stuff like that. If you have a disparate
it depends
ability on your teams.
It depends on the on-time thing. I mean, if if it's already an understanding you're not going to play in the first 3 matches, and
I don't know.
Why hustle to get there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember working late, calling him up, and then when I got there, he's like, well, we saved all your matches for you, so I had to play 4 straight matches.
Right.
And I'm like, really? Let someone else play. I don't need to practice. Yeah. Right? That was what killed me about League. Eventually, it just got to the point where it was just I wasn't
that was
enjoying
kind
it
of my
much
point
anymore,
in the beginning, though. It's just like, there comes a time, where, those are the situations where you can get everybody to play. Use those situations, and then when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, when you actually have to win, obviously you're going to be playing your best players to win and make the playoffs, and then when you get to the playoffs, you act accordingly. But there's times during the season where, when you're normally playing 4 games, you only play 2, because it's not needed.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, if I'm only going to play twice, why am I going out?
Right.
I mean, I literally have been on teams where somebody drove
an
hour
to
play 4 legs of 301 in an hour and a half and then drive back. And I'm like, I can't believe. Do you really think this guy's going to do this next season?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's a little ridiculous.
No, it's a lot ridiculous. I mean, literally, I don't know.
But did the guy think he was going to play more legs?
Not really. He kind of knew. He was playing bad, too. I mean, if he'd been playing good, I'm sure the guy would have stuck him in more. I mean, good captains, if they're observant, and I think that goes into communication, good captains are observant, and they can kind of, if they kind of survey what's going on and see who's off, who's not off, and, hey, you know what, I'm going to play so-and-so, tonight. Something like that.
As opposed to just sitting at the bar drinking and having somebody come out and say, hey, who's playing next?
Well, and then making sure that there's a chalker.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what was the thing? Like your team, like your captain was all like, hey, somebody else is supposed to be chalking and la-di-da-di-da, and he's over there sitting at the bar, and it's like, go chalk, dude.
Right.
But see, I'd be a terrible captain. No one would ever. I don't know why anyone ever played on a team that I was captain of. Because, like, you had the boards, like your practice board was spinning. It needed to be shimmed. Mm-hmm. And I'm immediately like, well, tell the worst guy on the team to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, that was always my attitude, even when I wasn't the best player on the team. But
you weren't the worst.
I was never the worst. But
right.
Ever. I was never the worst player on my team. I don't know why. It just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting nervous, twitchy.
But you never had a good team?
Oh, nice. That's nice. No, it was hard for me because I kept wanting to play, better players. So
Right.
I constantly wanted to keep moving up. Well,
Yeah.
when you move up, if the other people you're playing with don't improve, then who are you going to play
Right.
with? So you had that problem, right?
I did, yeah.
You were the best player on your team.
We were actually talking about that last night, too. It was, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, what are you going to do? You're gonna kind of hang back. It's almost like what is it like flunking in grammar school, where instead of moving up to 8th grade, you stay in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, there should be a progression
when
to the
I was
point
doing
where
it,
you're playing
right.
experienced players that are, have some level of aptitude.
you want to keep moving up, and and I had probably stayed, I would say, probably 3 years longer than I should have with the same team because I liked the guys and we had fun. But
Yeah.
it was like it took me like 3 years to banging my head against the wall till finally I was, and people would always ask, "Come join my team." And then finally I was just like, you know what, I have to go up to the next level division because there's only one other guy on my team that has any interest in getting better. So the two of us can't do it when the other 2 to 3 people, 4 people don't care.
I mean, I was lucky. I got hooked up with 2 guys that kind of wanted to progress.
Mm-hmm.
But you need 4 on a team.
Right.
So every season, it's like, we need a fourth, we need a fourth, we need a fourth. It was so annoying.
Yeah.
And then you're playing teams that have like 8 guys that have been playing from the same bar for like 15 years and have played lots of tournaments that are very difficult to beat. And they didn't cheat much, but, they tried little things.
Right.
And it was just sort of like, by the time you get used to the 4th, the season's over. And then it's like, God, we got this hole in the lineup we can never fill. It was kind of rough.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It was different. People were into it. I don't see people being, in your division anyway, I don't see anybody being too competitive. So
No.
I don't know.
Not at all. Everything's digressed.
I mean, I remember this one team, these guys, it was their Tuesday night out, and they were all good players and would be capable, if they went to tournaments, they could win some matches. I mean, they were good players, but they didn't care.
No, not
It was Tuesday night, and we're going to go out, we're going to hang out, we're going to play darts. Yeah. And they were doing it, it's every Tuesday for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, well, now they're married with kids, but I'm keeping my Tuesday night. Great. Have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, enjoy it. Well, I think that's great. It's just, I wonder if those guys would watch a match on TV. And I bet you they would.
You think they would?
Yeah, I think so. I think anybody that's put, time and effort into a sport would want to see it played well.
Yeah, I would probably agree.
I don't know that they're going to go too far out of their way for it.
No.
You know what I mean?
But you're flipping through the channels. Oh, hey, there's darts on. Yeah, I could see them watching it.
Why not?
Yeah. Or set the DVR.
Yeah, well,
I
personally think you should DVR everything and skip through the commercials.
Absolutely.
And
that's the only way to
turn
do
hour-long shows into 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the best way to watch football.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, the best way to watch football is the NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, see, when the building went to DirecTV, I lost the Red Zone.
Yeah.
I got it for free, and now they want $200, and I'm like, oh.
That ain't worth $200.
And I don't do fantasy football. I live vicariously through my friends' teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really pick. Maybe I'll do one this year. I don't know.
It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch a Bears game and the NFL Red Zone, though. Because you can pause the Bears game and watch the Red Zone, but then when you think they're going to flip over to the game, you have to sit there and catch up.
I'm psychotic.
Kind of
I DVR the Bear game, and I will watch it over and over. I'll watch a play over and over because literally any football play, if you really want to know what happened, you got to watch it 5 times. Who missed the block? Where'd this guy go? Who scraped? Right? Was he open? What progression is this guy using here? And how'd that guy get so wide open? And how many tackles did they miss? And did he take a bad angle? I mean, you can't see all of that
in 30 seconds
while the play is going on.
Right.
There's just no way. The coaches on the sideline have no idea what happened during the game.
No, that's why they watch
have
film
no
all the
idea.
time.
And I guarantee you, because I played some football, when you go back to the sideline, you lie.
Okay.
How'd you miss that tackle? Oh, that guy tripped me. I had him too. They should throw a flag, and then you walk back to the bench with your helmet, and
you
the coach
then you
is
get
like,
reamed in
"Hey,
film study.
ref, he's watched the tripping." Trip? Are you kidding me? I was thinking about my science project, and I was like, "Ooh, snap!"
Oh, the play's going on.
Oh gosh. I mean, So that's how I watch football. I mean, I DVR it. Now, if you DVR darts, if you have any interest in technique and stuff, my gosh,
you can slow it
awesome.
down.
Watch
it. Right.
I mean, everybody's got a cell phone with a movie camera on it now. I mean, have your friend tape you and go see. You know, if anything's blurry, that's bad. If you see your head's blurry, you're moving your head too much. I mean, you could get tips and stuff like that, especially on a league night. I mean, if I was a captain now, I would totally video everybody the first week of the season, not tell them, then video them the last week of the season, and, you know, try to get a video of somebody playing good, and then look when they're not playing good and say, well, here, you were playing good this night. See what you did here? Now look what you're doing. Oh, thanks, coach.
That would definitely help.
Sure.
Yeah,
why wouldn't it? But
you
how many captains have the sort of presence of mind to do something like that?
About zero.
Oh, I don't know about zero. It's just a low percentage. I mean, I'm sure some guys would do it. I mean, it's so much easier to do now, stuff like that now, than it is.
Well, sure. I guarantee nobody's ever thought of it until you just said it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's being done. I just don't know.
I'm just mean in our little part of the world.
Well, in our little part of the world, nobody really cares
at all.
There's a couple of people, but they're not like league players. Like the one guy that played the PCS in Michigan that David Flowers kind of killed. He's actually, you know, into stuff. He videos himself and all this, and, you know, he's got a nice stroke if he can execute it, you know. So, I don't know. Different strokes. I mean, now, you know, what I'm doing is I'm leaving the headphones on, and I go to a bar to practice, and I have Spotify. It's like my new best friend.
Right.
Spotify's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Spotify's better than Pandora. Right? So I create my own little playlist of music I want to listen to while I'm practicing, and I can tune out the I Love This Bar, Solo, Red Cup, whatever other nonsense is
that's
going
always
on.
playing.
And I can just, you know, play, and it's more enjoyable than putting up with some of the people.
How does that work, though, when you actually have to play in a bar that you can't have your headphones on?
What bar can you not have your headphones on?
I don't know. Well, if you're playing in league, are you going to play with your headphones on?
Oh, is there a league rule against headphones?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
Probably not.
No, there is, and I'll tell you why. There was a tournament where two of the locals were playing two people from out of town, and one of the locals was half in the bag and had headphones on and was literally yelling at his partner. I thought it was on purpose to annoy the team they were playing.
He was talking over his music?
Yeah. And so they banned headphones after that.
Okay.
And actually, I was playing some, like, the four-person thing, and I had my headphones on, la-di-da, and somebody made me take them off. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Really? So I warmed up with my headphones, then I took them off, and all of a sudden I was like a little off, and we end up losing. I'm like, I hate this league.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how who made this decision that there'd be no headphones? I mean, okay, here's why they made the rule.
Yeah,
but so one guy's a knucklehead, so now no one's allowed to wear headphones?
Pretty much. Yeah.
And who says you can't wear them in a bar? See, and that was the argument we had about the headphones, was like, okay, you can inflict $10 worth of horrible music on me, but and I'm not allowed to defend myself against it. All I can do is unplug the jukebox.
Right.
Right? Because how many times have I said I get kicked off the jukeboxes everywhere because I put on all this depressing, slow music, right? It's like, so what's fair?
Apparently, to them, it's fair that you have to listen to what other people play.
You know, these are supposed to be competitive decisions.
Not one.
What's the rule on the jukebox? What's the rule on having team trivia the same night? How distracting is that? You think conversation is bad?
Oh, team trivia.
I'm about to throw a double bull to win the game, and all of a sudden, you know, who discovered plutonium?
Yeah.
Or what's worse is when they actually ask a question that's like kind of wrong, which was the last time I was in a bar and they were having trivia. They asked some question that had no answer because the premise of the question was wrong. And I forget. Oh, it was what defensive back from the Arizona Cardinals was, you know, killed by his own troops in Afghanistan?
Okay.
Or they said what cornerback?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was a safety.
Right.
So I literally had to stop and go to the guy and it's like, hey, he was a safety. Okay? And the guy's just like, oh, really? Oh, okay.
But to him, it doesn't matter.
This guy doesn't know why there's laces on a football.
The answer to the question is still going to be the same, though.
Well, no,
I mean,
actually, the answer to it's unanswerable because there was no
well,
cornerback.
no, but what I mean
so
is
there you go.
People that know the answer are gonna know. They're not gonna care whether it was a safety or a cornerback.
Look, I argued with teachers for 19 years. I'm not going to stop with the trivia guy. We have to get to some results. What time is it? Are we on? Okay, we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Ponzio, and we'll be back in a minute.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor who's live in Tampa right now at the you say Caribbean, I say Caribbean Cup. Started yesterday. They had a blind draw with, 150 people or something. They did their opening ceremonies, so they're starting the round robin and stuff like that. If I find out
have you talked to him? Is he
tweeting
enjoying
results, no, I assume he's really busy. I'll have to go and call, but unless you see him in the chat room,
I have not.
He said he was pretty busy. I talked to him before the America's Cup. I mean, I'm looking over these results for the America's Cup, and I'm just sort of like, I kind of knew that a lot of these countries were going to have a hard time being competitive, but we played 39 legs in the round robin and only lost one.
Mm-hmm. They were throwing great.
Oh. Is that what it was? Well, we smashed Canada though in the final, so we won the America's Cup. I mean, Canada swept
I didn't
the
see
singles.
the results. I knew we beat them. We smashed them.
Yeah, we smashed them. We beat them down like wicked stepchildren. We beat them 8-2.
Oh, 8-2. Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of. Why would the semi be 9-1 and then 8-2? I don't know what the format was, but. Well, we're 2 legs above 500, right? If they win 2 more than us, it's tied.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. But congrats to us, Sandy Hudson, Brenda Roush, Jimmy Widd, and Tom Sawyer.
Yep. Good for them.
And it's interesting. If you go to the ADO website, there's you read it. I didn't know quite what to make of it. It wasn't really was it an apology for not having a youth team, or was it a series of here's why we didn't have one?
It was more of like, it was a series of it's not my fault, I didn't know kind of thing, and reasons why.
It
was more of an excuse, basically, I thought.
You thought? I mean, I just look at it, and it's like, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's like, okay, you don't know how to run a youth tournament?
I should have done this, but I didn't do this.
You qualify people for the Winmau Masters every year. Don't tell me you don't know how to run a qualifier.
Right. Well, you got the information too late.
And again, the thing that I object to is, I had to talk to the WDF regional guy, and it's basically, hey, Dave, talk to Buddy, is what happened.
Yeah.
Probably. Or Buddy said, well, you got to talk to this guy. So he talked to this. It's all a house of cards. It's like two guys.
Right. But so they don't even...
The WDF doesn't even have the results on the website.
That's what I was just going to say.
So I'm just sort of like...
Not even since 2008, so they haven't updated it for
4 years?
3 tournaments.
Yeah.
6 years.
Okay. I don't know why.
So
why have a website if you're not going to update it? Which, by the way, we're going to have a new poll. And I'll give you a hint what the poll is, because I didn't have time to type it up because we were late today.
Are you going to give a hint, or are you just going to say what the poll is?
Well, this is what I'm interested in knowing is what is the greatest accomplishment in American darts to date?
All right.
And I had 3 things in mind that people could vote on. One was we beat England 9-0 in the World Cup in Australia, which I heard was because they were all jet lagged and they left the doors open, so there was like some big draft or something. I mean, which I find comical.
Right.
Except that we beat England again in the World Cup last year. It was like Robbie Phillips, Tom Sawyer, Gordon Dixon, and Larry Butler. They beat England, and they beat them bad. So then I was kind of like, well, I don't know which one of those to pick. So I don't know. You want to weigh in on that? And then the other, Jimmy Damore won back-to-back Windy City Opens back when the Brits used to come to Chicago to play it.
We talked about that once.
Yeah, and I remember somebody telling me, and I was actually going to go hunt down Jimmy Damore and ask him about this because I never actually asked him about it. But I heard that he had said, like, to the local media that was covering the event, he guaranteed that he would repeat, and he did.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's a Joe Namath kind of and to go back-to-back, I mean, I think that's
really good.
That's really astounding. And then the third thing that I was going to say was how many years in a row now has Darren Young played in the World Championships?
Are you asking?
Yeah. I mean, do you know? I think it's been like 5 or 6 straight years. Okay. And I don't think any American has qualified 6 straight years for the World Championship. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm forgetting another one.
Yeah, the invention of Dart Talk.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah, we'll see how many votes that gets.
You should put it on there.
When the poll is up on the website, I'll post it for everybody. I'm forgetting. The match play, the first match play. Larry Butler won the match play.
Larry at Blackpool.
Yeah. Is that the greatest accomplishment in American darts? And the other thing is Paul Lim's 9-darter.
I thought
first
you
televised 9-darter. So I'll put them all up, and people can vote on them. You'll have to pick one, and we'll see who gets the most votes.
Right.
You know. I haven't updated the poll thing in a long time.
I've noticed.
Well, but it's not going to take me 4 years.
No, or 6.
I mean, it did take.
It
took 2 years to get the website up, but once it's been up, I mean, we do use it every week.
6 years with 3 major tournaments involved in those 6 years, and they can't update it for any one of them.
Look,
it's pretty crazy.
So
then on the website, all it did was it didn't even really give results. It just said the USA wins the America's Cup. That's it. And here's the reason why we don't have a youth tournament.
We looked on the ADO website. They don't have results. They just have that we won the team event.
Yeah,
that's it. But luckily, Canada has their act together.
Yes,
although apparently not in the team event here.
Well, apparently not.
Right. So we got to stick it to them a little bit since we did beat them. But I think they swept the singles. Let me look here real quick.
I believe they did.
We did just get full results here. So Dave Cameron beat Ross. Romwell Tagalog from the Cayman Islands and won the singles. Congrats to Dave. I know this is kind of a big thing because if you win the singles, you can go back every year or every other year because it's only every 2 years.
Okay.
You're allowed to go back and play in the singles if you want.
Oh, really? Even if you're not on the team?
Yeah, I think Chuck Pankow told me that. He's like, he can go back all the time now and play. Or you get like a permanent invitation to the Winmaw Masters, which is sort of like the perfect attendance tournament kind of thing.
Yes.
So I don't know what that's worth. But congrats to Dave Cameron. I'm sure he played well. Romwell Tagalog, I have no idea who he is, but he beat Sawyer and Widmeyer back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not easy to do. I don't understand how the Canadians were in one bracket and the USA was in another bracket, because in the women it didn't work out that way. With the women, in the semis, Sandy Hudson lost to Joanne Luke, and Brenda Rausch lost to Cindy Veith. So they had the Canadians and the Americans split up, and it ended up being an all-Canadian final that Joanne Luke won, so congrats to that, to her, rather. We did the team event. And then, okay, the Utes. Jarrett Dion of Canada beat Braden Rosson from the Bahamas 3-0. So congrats to those two. How many guys they have here? They did like a round robin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 guys.
Mm-hmm.
2 from the Caymans, 2 Canadians, 2 Bahamas,
Jarrett
3
ran away
from the
with it.
Caymans. So only 3 teams sent Utes. That's too bad. Maybe they'll enlarge it for next time.
If they get the information out there that there's actually going to be a youth tournament, then maybe the Americas can, the United States can.
To be honest with you, when people start talking about a bureaucracy, when it's literally you pick up the phone and you talk to this guy who you've known for 10 years, who used to be the president, whatever.
But anyway,
they're trying. At least they're trying. I just don't see how they can change things the way they're doing it. I just don't see a plan. I don't see a vision. If you don't know where you want to go, it's awfully hard to get there.
Was a vision. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've got the Dartslive results somewhere. Dartslive had, what did we say, 66 people in Washington, which was a disappointing turnout, I'm sure. What did you say? Paul Lim beat Ray Carver in the final?
He did.
And it was Benny Dersch and who in the semi?
David Fadum.
Fadum and Dersch. So the usual suspects.
Yeah, for top 4.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all such good players. I mean, I would have to say Ray's been the most consistent.
He's second
well,
in
Benny
points.
to Ram. Is Ram still in first? Ram's
in first.
We're going to see Ram in Nashville next weekend.
Yeah, that's cool.
During the first commercial break, I actually put flyers out for the 2 PCS matches in Nashville. So Saturday at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I forget the time now, Ram and Jimmy are going to play, which is before the four-man starts. And then Friday night...
They had the time to pick, right? And
yeah.
They picked that time.
And then Friday night, it's Ralph McCool and Eric Gregory going to play, which I think it's worth just going there, to watch the match and play in the draw. I can't imagine a better night at darts anywhere within 500 miles of Nashville than doing that. Although apparently they got another week-long tournament in New York, no entry fee, long format 01. So I have a feeling.
You were telling me about that. Yeah.
I have a feeling Widmer is going to be pretty sharp for Nashville.
Yeah, after playing that all week.
He played the America's Cup,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know what happened in his top 8 match with that dude from the Cayman Islands, but he, outside of that, he must have played pretty good. They only lost one leg in the round robin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the format was of the round robin, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
And then he's going to play all week.
Can't imagine. I don't think of Brazil as being like a real powerhouse dart team. I wonder how the Brazilians were traveling during the World Cup.
Right.
They're the only. Must have been strange.
They're the only people that left Brazil.
Well, I wonder if they left after Brazil lost. That
Maybe.
would there's a depressing plane ride right there.
They left after Neymar got hurt, and they knew it was over anyway.
It wasn't Neymar. It was the guy getting yellow carded, the captain in the back, the fullback dude, Silva.
Yeah,
that hurt him even more.
Well,
because they were running around back there, they didn't know what the heck they were doing, and they didn't do much better against the Dutch.
No,
they gave up a goal in the first minute and a half.
Yeah, I know.
But the third place game is do you really want to play that? I mean, we do it the way we do tournaments.
I was kind of curious about that too. What's the big deal
about third place?
But they get a medal.
Well, I mean, see, we always do just top 4.
Mm-hmm.
If you had on
of course when you play it once every 4 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, the NCAA got rid of it because teams didn't want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Final Four, and it's what do you mean you don't want to play it? You flew halfway across the country. You're all geeked up for a game you lost. All right, well, now you got a chance to showcase yourself.
Right.
Get a little payback.
Some people see it as though we didn't win, so what difference does it make third or fourth?
See, isn't that odd? Think about that, though. Everybody complains about Americans, and our attitude is nobody... The way they do youth sports now is that you're not even supposed to keep score and all this stuff. But then you look at the NCAA where it's we don't even want to play for third. We're so mad we didn't win.
Right. You know,
It's a total disconnect there.
we had a bad season. Why are we playing in the Poinsettia Bowl? Who cares? You know, right.
I don't understand why anybody cares about that unless you went to the school or you've got a financial interest in the game.
Well, there's
What do you
all
care who
financial
plays?
interest
Yeah,
in the schools.
college football. Ugh, God. I don't know how anybody watches it. I honest to God don't. Although, I was
It's
talking.
enjoyable.
Well, I was talking to my uncle who lives in North Olmsted, which is outside of Cleveland, and he was wearing his Ohio State Buckeye jersey, and I used to like watching Michigan. I don't
Okay.
live in Michigan, and I don't live in Ohio, and I don't consider myself a fan of either, but doesn't that give me the right to mock them both? Well, you can't mock Michigan because our
What
sponsor's
gives
a
you
Michigan
the right?
guy.
It doesn't matter.
Because I'm a fan. And
You're
so
not a
I
fan.
asked
You
him,
just said you can't even watch it.
I asked him how much it cost, what did he trade, for the shirt? Did he have to give somebody tattoos and stuff? My uncle, he's
nice.
95, and he's like, well, that's not really that funny, Steve. And I'm like, okay. 95 years old. Leave my Buckeyes alone.
Exactly.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
We're
so what
due
are we?
for another break.
Are we due for another break? Okay, we'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark Steve Panaziano. We'll be right back.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Let's try that again.
Back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor also. Thanks. Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. We're going to try to get Malcolm Spitzer on next week. He's the guy running the Caribbean Cup, so we can get a wrap-up from him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't get a hold of him this week, but I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Sure, he's
I'm
a little
sure
busy.
he's, yeah, wouldn't you think? So it's kind of my bad on that.
Yeah.
But we'll get a full report on the Caribbean Cup next week, and we'll try to get somebody on, one of the participants on, and they can tell us about it. Also, it is going to be streamed this weekend. Saturday and Sunday is going to be streamed. We will post the link. I couldn't find it for yesterday, but I found it after the fact. So
Okay.
we'll try to get that up. It's kind of an odd URL, so we'll have to figure something out. But we'll get that out to everybody, and if anybody's going to be tweeting results, we'll pass that along as well. I haven't been on Twitter much.
I'm never on Twitter. I don't tweet.
Did you see Shabazz Napier was
Yeah,
like,
he said he has
it's news that you don't follow LeBron's tweets?
He said he doesn't even control it, though. So why even have a Twitter account? Apparently he's got a Twitter account that his friends and family run.
Let me tell you,
That
a
makes
lot
no
of these
sense.
guys with social media have like somebody on their staff doing it
Mm-hmm.
and reading it. I mean, especially if you're a celebrity with like 1 million friends.
Well, sure.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to be reading that stuff.
But I mean, he just got his Twitter account like 2 months ago or something. But
Well,
so
look.
actually, somebody set it up for him, and
It's all the social media stuff it's a way for the players to to kind of take control of the message, because it's always been the media. The media decides what you hear. The media decides what you don't hear, and all this stuff. And now the players have their own voice, and I think that that's great. Works both ways. If you say something really ridiculous,
or if somebody says something for you that's really ridiculous. I mean, that's a problem you get when some people are running your Twitter account.
well, then what's the big deal?
Yeah.
I mean, get rid of them.
Well, right.
They have a lifetime contract. Hey, you in charge of my Twitter, you're fired.
You're done.
What's the password? I mean, did you see well, I don't know. You'll notice that we have no crawl this week.
I did notice
I'm
that.
sorry about that. I didn't have time to construct a crawl, and I wasn't going to put the same one up from like 3 weeks ago, which is what I did last week. So I'm sorry about that. Just a reminder, you can get audio podcasts on TuneIn.com, on Stitcher.com, on iTunes. If you go to Dart Talk US, we have all the old shows, video and audio up there. We'll have the poll up this week. There's also, you can donate money to the show so we could buy like a real camera. That'd be cool. There's like a PayPal thing. It says buy us a cup of coffee. Feel free to donate $11 billion to the show.
$11 billion.
Or less.
That's right out of the Wisconsin commercial.
No, that's like one of the funniest Saturday Night Live lines I've ever heard. Where is it from? It's somebody who's supposed to be Keanu Reeves on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
And his answer was $11 billion, and it just stuck in my head as like funny. So I use it all the time. Yeah, we'll be back next week at our normal time. What are we forgetting to talk about? We talked Dartslive, right?
We did.
There's another one coming up in Wisconsin. The Nashville tournament, everybody needs to go to this tournament, not this weekend, but the weekend after. It's probably going to be the best, I would say the best quality darts in America so far this year, I would think. Talk about mid-season form, right?
Yeah.
You got all these guys, running around playing. I mean, the tournament schedule's a little bit light, once you get into June. But the soft tip schedule kind of picks up then. So the guys that are kind of bi-dartual that are going out to the soft tip tournaments ought to be in fine form. And then there's a lot of people, I think, that are just have been waiting for a good tournament to go to. And here's the Music City Classic, which I think, since I missed Indianapolis this year because I went to Michigan instead, this will be the tournament I have attended the most.
Consecutively?
That's out of Chicago. Well, the most I missed 1 year in like the last 8. So I think this is my 7th or 8th time going down there. That's a record for me, as far as like what tournaments I go to regularly.
Yeah,
because I didn't start going to Virginia Beach until about 5 years ago. But Nashville,
you're almost there every time.
yeah, it's like I've played 4 different places. They've had this. I mean, they lost the hotel. When did they have the strike, the football strike? 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to move the tournament. So we played. It was actually a nice hotel. Yeah, because the Titans used this hotel as their headquarters for training camp.
Oh.
You can see almost the stadium from the hotel.
Oh, nice.
So it's apparently a good location. They have their own separate parking lot with their own security guy who sits in the parking lot all day to guard the Escalades with the nice rims and everything. And you see some of these guys in the hotel, and it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm not a big guy. I'm like 6'2". So you go and so I get on the hotel, or I get on the elevator, and I look at some guy, and you just give a look to these guys, and I'm like thinking, this guy can't cover me. And then, you realize, wait, that guy could break me in half.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of a weird extra thing that goes on in the tournament. And then you go see the Elephants on Monday.
Oh,
Jill,
you're going to do that again?
Oh, Jill's all over that.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Explain that to me. She didn't grow up with elephants. Why is she so fond of elephants?
She's an animal lover.
Oh, Well,
She
that
loves the
explains it then.
swan. She loves the elephants. Anytime she's got a chance to see animals, she wants to see animals.
She got a duck weather vane that literally the duck is like this big, and I named it Douglas. And she's immediately like, no, it's a female. I'm like, really?
Of course.
This bronze duck is a female, and you know this how? It's just never ending.
Yeah.
Never ending thing. Also, our background. What is our background? Our background is from last week. This is the Lauren sent it to us. It's from where the women play in Philly. I think is what the background is. And our camera's at a cockeyed angle because we're in a hurry.
It is.
We're running a little.
We're showing a little
behind
more
today.
table than usual.
Yeah, but it looks skewed somehow.
Yeah.
This is the
That's
first time
all right.
we've ever actually seen your laptop. What a fine-looking laptop it is. You should put like a big Dart Talk sticker
See,
on the
if I-
back of it.
You know why I don't have one on the back of it?
I can make you one. I made
don't
you
have
stickers.
one to put on there.
Well, we can fix that, dude. So where's your dart game at now?
Mine personal dart game?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question.
You said you played fair last night.
Between the
You have a board up
basically-
at home. Do you even throw at it?
Not very often. I don't have that much time though.
Yeah, well.
But I was actually talking to somebody though. I still have that little bit of laziness. You know, I get home from work and I sit down and watch TV. I could easily be watching TV while throwing darts,
I know.
and I can't get myself to do that yet. But I keep thinking about it, and that's what I need to do. You know.
One of the coolest things when we started the show was these guys telling me, and I don't remember because we moved the show around. We've done it on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
We started out on, I think, Thursday morning. We did it Thursday nights, then we did it Tuesday nights, then we did it Wednesdays. We went back and forth, and I don't remember what night these guys did it, but they said that they go in this guy's garage before league night and listen to the show while they're warming up, and then they go play league, and I just thought that was like really cool.
Really?
But I know at least one person practices during the show. Actually, John Kramer, when he used to listen to the show, which was, the first year we did it, I think. I don't think he listens anymore, but he said that he practiced during the whole show, and then he would rerun it and put it and listen to it again while I was practicing, and I was like, Dart Talk as practice.
All right.
Okay, I can see that.
Maybe
people listen to it on the road.
Model a
traveling to
show
tournaments.
around his practicing, like kind of mock him while he's throwing darts and.
Ooh, that was close.
God, you almost hit that one.
Unlucky.
You need to practice on those doubles
That was
more.
unlucky. Oh, by the way, I got one pet peeve about Chicago darters. Can I just tell you what it is?
Sure.
How much time do we got?
As much as you want.
It's so
the end of the show.
annoying. Where I don't know how many times this has happened. I throw a dart at the trip 20, and I just clip the top wire. I throw another one. I just clip the bottom wire, and then I'm like, okay, get one in between, smack dab in the triple 20, and the guy's like, nice pick.
Oh, they say that all the time.
Do they not know what a pick is? Do they not realize that it's sort of like a cover shot?
Yeah,
where it's
no,
like when you change numbers and hit it, that's a pick.
right.
Not when you throw your third dart
At
and
the
finally
same-
hit it.
right.
That isn't a pick. Will you pass the word to someone?
I'll do
Because
my
it's
best.
somebody on your team. I heard him say it, and I just wanted to wring
Well,
his
I
neck.
think you hear it from everybody.
Well,
every
I know.
team.
How did this get so wrong? See, that's the problem with like the dart community in general. You get one bad idea that people don't realize is a bad idea, and it just gets replicated like a virus.
And then it becomes commonplace.
We're here to fix that.
Okay.
So not that we're like the authority on dart speak or anything, but will you please, people, just stop doing that? The other thing is like unlucky. Oh, that was unlucky.
What, when it hits the wire and goes flying out?
I've seen people say that when you miss by an inch and a half. So I
Yeah,
mean,
well, that's not unlucky. That's just a bad dart.
I've seen some very unlucky darts. Like where you see one doesn't hit a wire and somehow ends up on the floor. That's unlucky.
The guy, one of my teammates yesterday threw a dart dead center into the middle of the 15, and it just hit the board and popped right out.
In the middle of the fat.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
I would have to say that if it was like a clean release and
Yeah.
it wasn't like wiggling in
no.
the air.
He was astounded. He goes, how does that happen? Nobody.
That was unlucky.
Yes. It was highly entertaining how upset he got.
I've seen people like really throw like 3 at a double and be right on the wire. I consider that a little
yeah.
unlucky. For one of them not to kind of like get over like 132nd of an inch.
Yeah,
or
when you
however-
go clip, clip,
yeah.
clip.
It's annoying. It's
Yeah.
annoying. I don't even like to talk about that stuff. I like to pretend it doesn't
It's worse
happen.
than the yips.
Oh, God, with the yips again. Jeez.
Anyway, to answer your question, which I never really got a chance to, is
Yeah.
my dart game is pretty much. I realize that I don't practice enough, and it's fun to be out there, but I'm, nowhere close to where I know I can throw.
So where are you compared to where you were at your peak, like percentage-wise? You about 50% there, 70% there? It's hard to
I'd say
quantify, right?
30%.
30. You're throwing that bad?
Yeah.
Wow. 30%?
I mean, yeah,
No, no, you got to be doing better than that.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
know, it
sure
just
if I
seems-
took a year off and started playing again and didn't touch a dart for a year, I could be at least 30% of where I am today.
Just by the first day you threw?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll go with 50. I don't know because
don't compare yourself to me.
I don't
I'm
have
older.
I don't have confidence is one of the problems because I'm not hitting anything.
Well, confidence.
But I mean, progressively, my like from the first week compared to now, my doubles are getting better, and more consistent.
Yeah, it's too
So-
bad that you guys don't track like points per round in the 0-1 singles. It'd be a very simple thing to do. Just just for your own edification. If you had a captain who was on the ball, and you said, "Hey, keep track of my darts per round when in my 0-1 singles, would you, for the season, and then let me know what they are." I'm pretty sure he could take 20 seconds and do that for you.
Right.
If you had a captain, a good captain.
Right. I did take out 113 yesterday, which isn't bad for me.
double 18
No, tops.
tops. Oh, nice. Okay, so you hit the trip 20.
Yeah.
That's good. I lost a couple of legs of 301 to Jill last night.
Did you?
Yeah. She
Bet
took
that
out,
made her happy.
I don't know. She threw like an 11 darter. I was
Nice.
going in on the double bull. I was sitting on a double. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. No, first, here's what kills me. And I did this to somebody else, so I maybe understand his pain, and we'll have to wrap it up. But she said, "Oh, I just feel like I'm in a slump." And then she threw like an 11 dart 301 game with took out 84 and 2 darts, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look like a slump.
That's no slump.
Yeah.
Or you have just come out of it.
No, but I think that's a confidence issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this is something that, we'll have to end on this. We always say that you need to play better people to get better.
Right.
You also have to beat on some people. Because if all you do is play people better than you, you're not going to win.
That's true. I can understand
So
that.
you need to get your confidence up. You need to balance playing
Yeah,
better people
you
with
need to
beating on the
burying
people
some
below
people,
you
right.
nicely.
Yes.
Be
yes.
polite.
Oh, well,
be
sure.
gracious.
Right.
Help people out,
But impose your will.
No, I mean,
You're
yeah.
darting.
Well, you're playing the board anyway.
That's what I mean. Right.
Right? I mean, some guy wanted to play me for shots. And I just looked at him. I'm like, really? He's like, I know who you are. I'm like, okay. He's like, you want to play cricket? I'm like, sure. Whatever you want. He's like, well, do you want to play with points or without points? And I'm like, whatever you like. He's like, well, let's play with points. I'm like, okay. And I proceed to play 2 legs with this guy where he doesn't point enough.
Right.
And he's like, well, when you're playing people like you, and I'm like, well, here's the deal with playing people like me is like,
You need a lot of points.
No matter who you're playing, you have to close all the numbers and have more points.
No matter
So
who.
if you're behind in the numbers, maybe it's a good idea to be ahead in the points so you have time to get the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lesson-
People forget. People
lesson
get
number
wrapped.
one.
Well, I mean, because cricket is takes so much skill.
Yes.
I need to play some cricket before I go to Nashville.
Really?
I don't even remember how to play cricket anymore. My partner's
I'm sure
gonna
it'll
kill
come
me.
back to you.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll look forward to seeing everybody in Nashville, but we'll do a show before then. We'll try to maybe we can get one of these guys playing in the PCS to come on the show. I'd like to get Ram Gravera on the show. I don't know if he's got I don't know how computer literate he is, if he can get Skype working or not.
I'm sure he can.
Well, maybe we'll get him on the show next week, and we'll try to get Malcolm on the show and give you a good wrap-up of the Caribbean Cup. We can also preview the ADO Club Championship, 501 Club Championship's coming up.
All right.
We can probably preview that. I know I saw that they listed all the players. Didn't look like they got too many.
Really?
Well,
That doesn't surprise me.
I don't know. I think I'm in the boat with a lot of people. I think I would like to see the ADO succeed, but it's just sort of like you have no confidence that they're going to do it, and I don't see a plan. So if you don't have a plan,
Sounds
I don't
like
know
my
how you're
game.
Well, come out and throw. I do ask you to come out and
I
throw,
know
and
you
then
do.
you're too lazy to get off the couch
Right.
and, go a mile, So anyway,
Well, I
okay.
still have to get up in the morning.
Yeah. Well. You got anything else? Did we forget anything? Was there something last week we were supposed to talk about we didn't get to?
Not that I recall.
Good. Well, then the audience won't recall it anyway.
Right.
Thanks to everybody in the chat room. We'll stick around in the chat for a little while, but we're going to terminate the iCast momentarily. We will be back next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right? And until then, everybody travel safe, and we will Dart talk to you next week. Y'all take care.